And you see it transfers over to the map target attributes. And it's really just that simple. So let's go ahead and do this for last name too. And you'll see something with last name. You see this little red asterisk. This means that it is a business required attribute. If we imported any data that didn't contain last name, it wouldn't go through. We'd hit save and close, and it would warn us that we don't have anything mapped to last name. It's business required. We need to have something there. So go ahead and map that to last name. And in a similar fashion, if we go up here to unmapped attributes and change this to business required, you'll see all the attributes that need to be mapped. And it's a good place to look first, but for context, the only business required attribute is last name, so there's going to be nothing there. See? Okay, let's move on. So middle initial, we got middle name. And move up here to email. Email starts with an E, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, so this address, city, state, and zip code are all part of the address 1 attribute. And this is just if you open up a contact, it's basically the second part of the page. It says where the shipping address is too. So we're going to map street 1 to the address, which is the first part of it. The second part would be the P.O. box number, and third box would be if you got it even more specific. Okay, city maps to address 1 city. Jump down here to state. State maps to state/province. And zip code maps to zip/postal code. Okay, so we've got 2 left. We've got company name and we've got telephone. So here's something cool about the import here. We see address 1 phone here, which is the actual phone number of the shipping address. And then we also have the contact has a business phone. And for this particular case, we want to actually map both of them. So we can map the business phone, go up here to the address, click on phone, and map it again. And we'll see that we have business phone, semicolon, address 1 phone. And this will actually populate both fields. And you can do this for anything really. You can, if you want to map, ID numbers to various places, you can do it that way, and it's kind of handy. You don't have to do a second import. Okay, last but certainly not least, we have this company name, and this is something tricky that you got to be aware of in this system. Is if you map this to the primary company for that contact, it will not create a account attribute or account record for that company. What it's actually going to do is it's going to throw back an error saying we don't know what this company is, and that's certainly something we don't want. It's going to fail for every single record we have that we're going to import. So we can't actually use it like this. If we want to create a system where the company name does create a attribute, or if it does update the contact and the account in conjunction, we're going to need to use the data migration manager, and that's a little bit more complicated. So for now, we're just going to go down here to ignore, and you can actually ignore any of these fields. You see it says ignore, and it's perfectly okay with that. You don't have to import every single column that you want that you have on the Excel document. Okay, so this looks good. We got our address, city, company email, first name, last name, middle initial, state, telephone, and zip code. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this data map. And you'll see it'll show up on this list of data maps that we have here, our September 16th contact import. So that's what we want to use, so we'll click OK. This can give us a little eye saying that there's an unmapped source column, and click details. It's going to be the company name. But just a warning, it's not an error or anything, so that's perfectly okay. So go ahead and hit next. And right here now we have the option to assign all these contacts to a specific user in CRM. You know, if you're doing this, if you have a list of contacts that are specific to a certain user that aren't, that isn't you, you can click on this little lookup and change it. But right now we want to actually assign it to ourselves. And duplicate detection, I'm going to go ahead and import duplicate records just in case we randomly generated some names that are the same. Okay. So go ahead and hit next, and it's the final step here. We can confirm import details. Let's give a name for it, and this will show up in the data management. So let's do September import. How about September 16th import? It sounds a lot like a data map, but it's the import. And summary, the file we're going to import, record type, and who is it assigned to. Finally, there's this real sort of neat feature in CRM is the notification. You check this box, it'll send you an email when the import is done. Right now we're importing sort of a small amount of records, so it's not going to take that long, but you imagine if you're importing several thousand or 500,000 or however many you want in your system, you kind of like to know when it's going to complete. Okay, and we hit this import button, we're going to import it, but before we do that, I'm going to quickly go through the steps that it's going to take once it imports. And it's a 5-step process that goes through the submitted phase, the parsing phase, the transforming phase, the importing phase, and finally the completed phase. And I'm going to hit import, and I'm going to refresh it, and you'll be able to see those 5 steps and exactly what it does. So go ahead, hit import. You'll see our September 16th import has been submitted, and it's created on, and we have our total counts of successes and our errors. Hit refresh here. It's still submitted. It's going to change to parsing in just a second. There it goes. And as this goes, it's going to increase the total count. How many things have been parsed? Yeah, parsing is pretty quick, which is 1,000. Okay. So far, no actual files have been imported. None have been errored out. So let's hit refresh. Okay, we're on the transforming phase, a lot like the parsing phase. You're not actually going to see any changes here, but once the transforming phase is over, we're going to start the import, and the successes is going to start to go up. There we go. We've got 100 successes. We've got 190 successes. We've got 330 successes. This is great. If there's any sort of problem with it, the error is going to count up, and it's definitely not what we want to see. And there we go. Completed 1,000 imports, and this is the actual job. So we can click on this. And we can see information about it. We can see who it was created by. We can see the created on date and the finished on date. Again, if you're importing, several thousands, these records, these won't be the same. These might be, several days, maybe even several weeks apart. Okay, more information about it, the file, record type. And over here on the side, we have our contacts created. I'm going to be able to see all the 1,000 contacts that we created. Some cool information about them, but we'll go back to that in the actual contacts in just a second. And over here is failures, very important. If there's any problem with it, you'll have the failure number, which record where it messed up, and a little description about what exactly the problem was. Maybe there's some invalid characters, or if you tried to map to the primary company, you'd get an error here, and it would say that it doesn't know what that primary company is. Okay, so we're going to close this file, and then we'll go over and open up Workplace. Open up contacts, and you'll see here we've got all our contacts, all 1,000 of them in our system. Let's open up just one of these random, and you see all the information about them: first name, middle name, last name, our 2 phone numbers, which are populated 2 separate places, and their email, zip code, street, city, province, all that fun stuff. Okay, so that's how we go about doing a data import. Let me switch back to my presentation here really quick. Here we go. All right, so I'm looking at the log here. I don't see anyone asking any questions, so if you have any specific